let's jump in. Question number 1 said, great answer on blue zones last week, bro. Whole food, plant-based diets versus carnivore diets. What does the science say about the long-term health of someone who is on a whole food, plant-based diet compared to a carnivore diet? Now, this question, as I pointed out, kind of misses the entire point. The entire point of this carnivore movement, and in some ways the whole food plant-based movement, which is basically just vegan, right, is that the science isn't there yet. All of the science that we have, I talk about this in many AMAs, all the nutrition science we have is flawed because we didn't even start looking at the role of chronic disease, of nutrition in chronic disease until the 1970s. Most of the studies done on the role of nutrition in chronic disease happened really after 2002 and beyond. So we only have barely a couple decades of actual data on the role nutrition plays in chronic disease. Now the problem with that is by the time we were conducting experiments on the role of nutrition in chronic disease, we were already eating the food pyramid for decades. America had been on the low-fat, high-carb craze since as far back as the 50s, right? So we've been solidified as eating a standard American diet way before 2002 for decades. So if you really think about it, all these nutrition studies were done not only on a not normal population, but an actual sick population. A lot of the nutrition data, anybody who's really honest in terms of evidence-based nutrition and research and that, we really don't know that much. We just don't. So that's the trouble. People like carnivores and whole food plant-based, or even Clovis, which is a whole food omnivore diet, I'm not willing to wait 20, 30 years for the science to catch up and tell me what the hell's actually going on, right? I'm going to do my own experiments, anecdotal evidence, N equals 1. I'm going to watch what other people do. I'm going to experiment on myself. I'm going to be the scientist because all of our science is also paid for by big food and pharmaceutical companies. So science question, kind of a moot point. The other thing is they're missing the point about whole food plant-based and carnivore, because carnivore could just be called whole food animal-based. So we're really looking at whole food plant-based, whole food animal-based, and then Clovis, which is whole food omnivorous, right? What is the commonality? Let's stop looking at the differences and look at the commonality. The commonality is we remove most of the foods that make up most of the standard American diet. These are refined, processed, and ultra-processed foods, particularly refined carbohydrates like sugar, right? So all of these diets can work for people, absolutely. Why? Because they're removing all the junk, all the nonsense from the standard American diet, which is made up of more than 60% processed and ultra-processed foods. It's really, really terrible. The standard American diet will just straight up kill you. That's all there is to it. It's directly responsible for chronic disease, in my opinion. So let's stop looking at the differences of whole food plant-based, whole food animal-based, aka carnivore, and whole food omnivorous. They have a lot more in common than you actually think, right? All they're doing is getting rid of the junk. So the other question was, where's the best place to start and understand what the Clovis program entails? And I love this question because there are lots of places to look. So I'm going to list some here. I got some notes for you. There is a playlist on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/theclovisculture, youtube.com/theclovisculture, there's a playlist called Common Clovis Questions that walks you through exactly what happens when you sign up for a Clovis custom nutrition plan. There's also AMA number 45 at clovis.show or on the Clovis Culture podcast on your favorite platform. AMA 45 is called Back to Basics for the Newbies. AMA 27 is called What Makes Clovis Different and Why You Need It. AMA 24 is called Lectins and Leaky Gut, which I think you must digest because you're going to get into Clovis and try to figure out why I remove so many vegetables from the approved foods list. There's a lot of vegetables that are nasty for you that you think are a health food and they just aren't. Number 22 is called Back to Basics Fat Loss. So those are the AMAs I think you should watch. Check out clovis.show, subscribe to the Clovis Culture podcast, and pick those up. Another question was about Paleo Valley's organ complex and Paleo Valley's vitamin C complex. I love Paleo Valley. I love the people, beautiful family that run this. Their ingredients are great. I love their products. I use their products. This person is saying that I gave them a custom nutrition plan. They tried Paleo Valley's organ complex, Paleo Valley's vitamin C complex, and they had some stomach issues. It really upset their stomach. Now, there's two things happening here. One, there's probably a lot of metabolic dysfunction that needs to be undone, so they're having trouble absorbing nutrients. Their body can't handle this mega dose of nutrients. It has an absorption issue, right? But that's not as scary as it sounds. Basically, everybody comes to me with an absorption issue, some kind of gut issue by the time they get to me. Number two is they probably have some serious micronutrient deficiencies. So basically the body's getting an overwhelming dose of micronutrients. It doesn't know how to absorb them, and there may be some bathroom symptoms. I have have heard this before with the Paleo Valley organ complex. That does not mean this is a bad supplement. It means that there is an issue within the gut, right? The gut is having trouble absorbing nutrients. So I told this person to reach out to me and get on a gut healing protocol that I offer as part of the custom nutrition plan. So if you get a custom nutrition plan from me and we determine that you're having a lot of gut dysbiosis, I will walk you through step by step how to get a handle on that. So that's what I'm going to do with this client based on this question that they asked me. The next questions all had to do with hair loss, balding, which I do not have a problem with whatsoever, and graying hairs, okay? So this question was, how about preventing men's hair loss? Is that possible? And I do believe it's possible, but that's just my opinion. And the biggest factors in this, one, like everything else in health and wellness, is hormonal imbalances. If you have thyroid issues, hyper or hypothyroid, you have to understand that this thyroid hormone literally has receptors directly in the follicles of your hair cells, the roots of the follicles of the hair cells, right? So if your thyroid hormone is out of whack, that can cause hair loss and even cause your hair to fall out. The same thing with testosterone. Testosterone plays a direct role. Another thing is cortisol, which is your major stress hormone. If you have chronically high cortisol levels, that can lead to hair loss. This kind of cliche term of you're so stressed your hair is falling out, that's a real thing. If you have chronically high cortisol levels, that can lead to hair loss. So if you're a guy and you have thinning hair, or you're a woman, because this happens with women too, if you start seeing thinning hair falling out on the pillow, hair coming out when you brush your hair, whatever, you need to get a hormone panel done. Check out a company like Wellness FX or SpectraCell. Go get a full-blown male or female hormone panel done. Take a look at what your hormones are and get somebody who can help you interpret that data and make some changes to hopefully prevent that hair loss. I'm not saying you can reverse it, but maybe prevent it, right? Now, the next question was, is gray hair the result of micronutrient deficiency to some degree? I heard that several years ago from a guy selling vitamins, and honestly, it made me take more vitamins. So this question bugs me a little bit because really marketing companies will just say whatever they can say to sell more vitamins, and people fall for this stuff, and that's a little bothersome for me. But I guess micronutrient deficiency could probably play a role in this, but actually it has more to do with antioxidants and your body's ability to produce endogenous antioxidants, your own body's capacity to create antioxidants, right? Specifically things like glutathione. So your hair, like your skin, if you get sunburnt or different ethnicities have different amounts of melanin in the skin, there's melanin in your hair. That's where the color of your hair comes from. It's actually melanin. And as you age, as the antioxidant synthesizing capability in the body goes down, you can lose some of that melanin, and that will cause the discoloration or loss of color in your hair. So a good option here is to make sure you're getting enough protein, the amino acids that you need to synthesize glutathione. Things like vitamin C can help you synthesize glutathione. Even Ayurvedic medicinal herbs, things like ashwagandha have been shown to help the body produce more glutathione. Now, glutathione itself, supplementation, doesn't really work very well in terms of ingesting it orally, but you can do glutathione pushes via IV. I have done this. If I come down with some kind of sickness, when I got back from Thailand, I was just smoked. I had some kind of infection that was just really bad. It was actually a version of influenza, so it was actually a virus, not an infection, but I had a pretty serious influenza happening when I got back from Thailand. My immune system was just beaten down after a month of traveling to exotic locations and not eating well, right? So my immune system was beat up, I got influenza, and I did a big ass push of glutathione. That can be very pricey. That IV was B vitamins, glutathione, a couple other things, and it cost me about $250. But that said, if you're aging, you could do that even once a month just to maintain glutathione levels in the body. Do an IV of glutathione, and that antioxidant production, that antioxidant synthesizing capacity that the body then has for endogenous antioxidants can help you hold on to some of that melanin. Now, they do actually have creams, PCKSU or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but that is supposed to help prevent gray hair. So these are just some of the things you could do. Make sure you're getting enough protein, take some vitamin C, try glutathione IV, and it could be micronutrients, right? But I actually don't recommend most multivitamins because they're kind of nonsense in terms of bioavailability and all these things, right? So you got to go to brands that you can actually trust. Become a member of I Am Clovis, and I'll tell you all about the supplements that I recommend. You can do that at iamclovis.com/start. If you want to get a custom nutrition plan and work with me, you also do that at iamclovis.com/start. I would love to work with you. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Love you guys. Bye.